Welcome to Ryjaa's vlog. Today, our poem Mending Wall. Welcome all of you to our class. Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Hi dears, welcome to our new class. Our new poem Mending Wall by Robert Frost. Robert Frost is an American poet. He is well known for his poems, which are in colloquial style. His poems begin in delight and end in wisdom. He has received the Pulitzer Prize a number of times. And the central idea of the poem Mending Wall is that nature does not like separation, and that is why it tends to destroy the world. And the wall symbolizes the restrictions between neighbors. So our poem, Mending Wall by Robert Frost. This poem is in the form of a dramatic narrative style. And the first tone begins in a mysterious, then in a calm tone. So let's go to our line-by-line explanation of the poem Mending Wall. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends a frozen ground swell under it, and spills the upper boulders in the sun, and makes gaps even two can pass abreast. So the poet says that there is something that doesn't like walls. It makes the frozen ground under the wall expand. And because of this expansion, the wall gets cracked, making the upper stones of the fall down to the sides. The work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair where they would have left not one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding. So the poet says that hunters also make these gaps. Sometimes the wall is so damaged that even two stones, one on the top of the other, are not found. Sometimes it may be the reason of the hunters, and that would bring into the open the hiding rabbits to make the barking dogs happy. It means that the gap in the wall sometimes may be made by the hunters, because the hunters hides away or they runs away the rabbits. The rabbits are hiding, and the hunters would bring them into open, the hiding rabbits, to make a prey for their barking dogs. In order to make their barking dogs happy, the hunters would run away the rabbits hiding. Next line. But they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the yelping dogs. Yelping dogs means barking dogs. The dogs are barking. So the poet or the neighbor, not the poet, the neighbor wants to satisfy the barking dogs. In order to satisfy the barking dogs, the rabbits, he makes the rabbits out of hiding. The gaps I mean, no one has seen them made or heard them made. But at the spring mending time, we find them there. So the poet mentions a spring season here. The spring season as the mending time here. The gaps I mean, no one has seen them made. So no one has seen them. How the gaps are made in the wall. And at the spring mending time, we find them there. So the spring season is mentioned as the mending time. And during the spring season, they sew the gap in the wall again. So I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. So the spring season, which is the repair time for the walls. Okay. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. So what I do, I inform my neighbor. Where is my neighbor living? My neighbor lives on the side of the hill. Okay, so I let my neighbor know beyond the hill. And on a day, we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us as we go. So we decide to meet one day. And when we walk along, we can set the wall again, or we can repair the wall again, because the stones have fallen on each side of the wall. So my neighbor would pick up the stones fallen on his side and he set up the wall again. We keep the wall between us as we go, to each the boulders that have fallen to each. Boulders means stones, massive stones or massive rocks. So we keep the wall between us as we go, to each the boulders that have fallen to each. And some are loaves and some so nearly balls. So the poet says here that the fallen stones, they have not any even in shape. Some are uneven in shape. Some are in the shape of the loaves of bread and some like ball shape. So to balance them on the wall, we have to use some magic. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. So we have to use a spell to make them balance. So we use some magic spells in order to place all the stones balanced there. So he uttered, stay where you are until our backs are turned. Okay, and this is very fun. This is a very fun statement here. Next lines. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. By placing each and every stones on the wall, our fingers made rough by handling them. Our fingers become very painful by handling each and every rocks. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. So the poet says here, it is just like an outdoor game. Yes, we are playing a game. Oh, it is just like an outdoor game. One on a side. It comes to little more. It comes to little more. There where it is we do not need the wall. So actually, we do not need this wall here. But my mind, my neighbor, want this wall. Okay. It comes to a little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. He is all pine, and I am apple orchard. So this means that his area is covered with pine tree and my area is full of apple trees. Isn't it? He is all pine and I am apple orchard. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his pines. So the poet says here that my apple trees will never get to his place and to eat the cones of his pines. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones. Corn means the fruit of the pine tree. Pine fruit. And eat the cones under his pines. Metaphor is used in this line. The figure of speech used here in this line is metaphor. I tell him, he only says, good fences make good neighbors. When I said him, he only uttered this line, good fences make good neighbors. Okay, that is in this line. So let's move to the next stanza. Spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors, isn't it, where there are cows? So he says good fences are okay if we are growing cows to prevent them from getting mixed up. But here there are no cows. So what's the need for the fence here? So the poet is asking to the neighbor, what's the need of the fence here? Here there is no cow to get across this wall and come into your garden. Here there is no cow. So spring is the mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? By building such a wall between us, why could we? Oh, why do they make good neighbors by building such a wall between us? He's asking a rhetorical question here. Isn't it where there are cows? But here there are no cows. Before I built a wall, I would ask to know what I was walling in or walling out. So it seems there is something that doesn't love a wall here. Okay, what I was walling in or walling out, and to whom I was like to give offense. Offense, it sounds like pun, fence. Okay, offense, it's pun used here, offense. Because offense, it sounds like fence. Something there is that doesn't love a wall. So it seems that there is something that doesn't love a wall here. The nature want to destroy or to pull down this wall. That wants it down. And I could say elves to him. Elves means spirits, some supernatural spirits. So I could say elves to him. Sometimes it is because of the presence of the elves here. This wall may be collapsed. But it is not elves exactly. It is not elves exactly. It is not elves exactly. And I would rather he said it for himself. I see him there, but bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. Okay, so the poet mentions his neighbor carrying two stones, holding them firmly in each hand. And now he looked like an uncivilized man from an old Stone Age era. His neighbor is contrasted or compared with an old Stone Age man. He is very uncivilized because he is in darkness. He is carrying in both his hands stones. Okay, so I could say else to him, but it is not else exactly, and I would rather he said it for himself. I see him there, bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand, like an old stone savage armed. He moves in darkness, as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. So his neighbor, he is moving in darkness. Because he is not educated at all. He is living in darkness. As it seems to me, not of woods only, and the shade of trees. So he is moving in darkness of the trees and shade. And he will not go behind his father's saying. And he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. So he is not ready to give up his father's saying. He hold on his father's saying, wise saying. What is his father's wise saying? Good fences make good neighbors. So he is repeating the line, the good fences make good neighbors. Okay. So Robert Frost, he is mentioning his neighbor with the stones as a Stone Age man because he's using stone as his weapon. And he's not ready to become a civilized man. He stick on to his uncivilized manners, living in darkness like a Stone Age man. So he says again, the last line, he says again, good fences make good neighbors. The refrain used in this line is, good fences make good neighbors. Thank you all.